Hey guys, StandardVR, coach of the Kansas City Kyurem, here with week 1 of our battles in the SPL Draft League. This is super exciting. We are up against Grandmaster D.Rey and the San Diego Spirits. A little intimidating. I don't know if you've ever seen their content, but if you haven't, go to the description. Their link is in there. Click it, and then subscribe to them. Absolutely insanely good content creator, draft battler. Like I said, this was a super intimidating week 1 for me. They have a really cracked draft team, which was led by that Garchomp, which obviously can be aggressive. It can build aggressive offensively with like Scarf Band just doing damage. It can be like a big defensive Stealth Rock setter, Hazard setter. The sets are numerous. Substitute Swords Dance. I had to respect this thing so much off the lead that it really influenced my prep. Then they have the Galarian Slowking, which is a super annoying mon to deal with. It just kind of never gets KO'd. Regenerator, Chilly Reception out, all that kind of stuff. Chilly Reception, by the way, is super scary with their next mon, Iron Bundle. Choice Specs, Blizzard Spam. Kind of just tears through my team. So it was super scary. And then of course, they have Tinkaton for hazards and disruption, Thunderwave, knockoff. Standard Tinkaton stuff, you know what I mean? Then they got Amanda Buzz to just kind of be bulky, toxic, defog, foul play. Another super annoying mon to kind of like try and break. And it got Rotom Heat, really slow down the team with like some Will-O-Wisps, Volt Switch into some more defensive stuff. You never know if it's Scarfed as a Citrus Berry. It's also another mon that's hard to KO in one. They got a Mienshao, so you got a nice Regenerator core with the Slowking. Super fast mon too. Then you got the Hisuian Zoroark. So hey, they got all these threats, and you never know if it might be a Zoroark. And then of course the Alolan Sandslash to kind of round out that snow core of Chilly Reception, Galarian Slowking with Iron Bundle and Alolan Sandslash. And I don't know if you saw my draft breakdown. My team doesn't like ice very much. They also have the Demon Terra Superior. This thing, if it gets set up and going, it can just sweep teams. They also had a Terra Captain in Dondozo, which you all know that thing is hard to take down. So, draft prep, very hard. Shoutouts to ThatsAPlusOne for his help. Shoutouts to the Take Heart Foundation and Hoodlum Callum. They all were great in helping me prep for these battles with mocks, team building advice, all that fun stuff. So let's get into what we brought. I had a dedicated lead this week with Assault Vested Rhyperior. This mon was so good in the matchup. We went Terra Fire because we wanted to avoid the Wisp from Rotom. It was also the plan from the get-go. This was my dedicated lead to lead this and Terra turn 1. Now I know what you're saying. Don't exhaust early. I understand that. But my flowcharts and my plans was to Terra Fire turn 1. So I always have that defensive pivot into Superior, because also I don't really have great grass resists on my team. I mean, I have dragons, but like also Superior can Dragon Pulse. It's like a whole thing. So main role of this off the lead was to bluff rocks. I wanted them to play passive turn 1, so we're going to see if we can get them to do that. So we bluff rocks. This is also a Stealth Rock setter. So usually like Tinkaton's a good lead, but you'd have to be Air Balloon or Shuckle Berry, so it's going to force a pivot. And then you could just Earthquake something. You know what I mean? That was my plan. Bluff rocks. This is an early breaker. Get some damage down early. And then go from there. See how they want to play it. See if they want to be aggressive. See if they want to set hazards. What do they want to do? Again, it's basically like my first like professional draft league. So kind of getting used to stuff myself. There's also super heavy Spadef investment in this guy. With Terra and the Assault Vest, even if I Terra Fire in front of Iron Bundle, even a Specs Bundle Hydro Pump doesn't one-shot this guy, and then I could respond with like an Earthquake or Stone Edge to take it low enough that then like, one of my priority guys in the back could like finish him off. Next up, we had to bring the Roaring Moon. This was to outspeed Superior. This was to hit it hard and to outspeed it. We basically went max attack, max speed. I think we put like 4 points in both defenses and like 8 in HP just to kind of maybe cheekily live something. And of course we have the Lumberry because again, they got Rotom Heat, which is, I think it's a lot of times it's Scarfed, and then they get off a Will-O-Wisp, even though I think it's very hard for Roaring Moon to KO Rotom Heat in 1. You kind of have to be like +2. It's kind of ridiculous. This is my late game cleaner. My whole plan was to soften everything up in the beginning, get Moon in on like a more defensive mon, something that I could set up in front of, and then just do that. And have the Lumberry in case they have Wisp, have the Lumberry in case Tinkaton, Thunder Waves. I didn't want Moon getting crippled, so that's the Lumberry. That's it. So, next up, we of course have the Scarf Enamorous. This is my speed control. If you're not running Booster Bundle, if you're not running Scarf Bundle, Enamorous outspeeds, it can pop it. Obviously, you can Ice Beam in return, and Enamorous goes down because Bundle's kind of cracked. But if you're sashed, one of my priority guys in the back can come in and clean up. This is kind of my plan from the get-go. This is a very good offensive pin into a lot of their mons. Garchomp, of course, gets popped by Moonblast. Earth Power can pop Tinkaton. It's good. It's just a good mon to force pivots, to force you to play defensively. And that's why we brought it Scarfed. And we also ran Healing Wish on it just in case we kind of needed to bring Rhyperior back from the brink. If we needed to bring a Roaring Moon back from the brink, or if it had been statused, we can get big Healing Wish off, bring in a Sweeper, and clean up. Then we have the Boots Hitmontop. This was my Rapid Spin support. Obviously, they have a lot of Rock Setters. They got Garchomp, they got Tinkaton. This is so we could Rapid Spin those away and just kind of be a nuisance. Heavy Duty Boots, self-explanatory. We're coming in as a Rapid Spin user. We don't want to take any chip. Also, my Weather Setter. Again, I was very concerned about Chilly Reception Slowking into Bundle. So this thing has enough bulk and SPDF investment to live pretty much anything from any mon. So this was always like my dedicated pivot to kind of come in, take some damage, maybe Mach Punch for some chip. If I get an opportunity, set that Sunny Day, because that also boosts Moon's stats, which is ridiculous. It was just a really good mon in Mox for repositioning. And speaking of repositioning, that brings me to the next mon, Scizor. Classic reposition mon. AV is so clutch on Scizor. Like, this thing eats Freeze Dries, Ice Beams, Blizzards from Bundle for days. Even with a Hydro Pump, with the AV, it really lets me scout, are you specs? Are you not specs? Because I'm pretty sure the calc is, if it's not specs, you don't even do half. This was my AV pivot mon. This was if you have a special attacker, say like a Slowking, say like a Bundle, I'm going to come in and then I'm going to reposition my pins. I'm going to basically sack this mon or Hitmontop to get in Enamorous or Roaring Moon for free to get some damage off. That's the plan. This is my pivot mon. Also, priority KOs. Bundle is kind of frail on the defensive side. Bullet Punch kind of cooks it. Obviously, the defense boost from Snow causes problems. But this was kind of there to, if I need to late game, you just Bullet Punch out. You know what I mean? And hope. Which brings me to the next mon. We got a Weakness Policy Raging Bolt. This is such cool tech. I love this mon so much. First note, Thunderclap. That's it. That's all you need to know about this mon. Thunderclap. They don't have a ground type. Obviously, you can Terra Ground, but then you're using your Terra. It's a whole thing. But Thunderclap really pins Bundle. Obviously, they can Encore, which causes problems. But then you just have the option of attacking, switching, whatever. I just like Thunderclap kind of pops everything. And if you hit me with a super effective move, Bolt is bulky enough to survive just about everything. This mon is absolutely ridiculous. We are max defense because Weakness Policy. So what I wanted to be able to do is if I got into a pin where I was sitting in front of like a Garchomp, as long as they don't have any boosts, this max defense Bolt does eat an Earthquake and then responds with like a Draco Meteor. And with that Weakness Policy, hey, now all of a sudden my special attack isn't really dropped. I mean, I could have gone wider, but I think it's just better. I like the weakness policy because you also get like cheeky, super strong Thunderbolts into like a Tinkaton if they were to play rough the Bolt. You know, it's just a lot of cool interactions that could happen with this. This thing's also just a bulky nuisance. It's very hard to take down. It's very hard to get damage off without getting KO'd by this thing. So, those are the 6 that your Kansas City Kyurem are bringing against the San Diego Spirits this week. Drop a sub, guys. Let me know in the comments what your favorite bring of mine is this week. And definitely stick around for the battle. Definitely sub to Grandmaster D.Rey. Again, phenomenal content creator. I'm super hyped for this battle. I'm super hyped for this league. Like, this is very exciting for me. Guys, catch you in the battle. Hey guys, StandardVR back with the first week of the SPL D-League, the SPL Development League. The first step to getting into the big leagues of the SPL draft. We're up against Grandmaster D.Rey, an absolutely phenomenal battler and content creator. If you haven't checked out their channel, definitely click the link below in the description and give them a sub because they are absolutely putting out some amazing content. So, we got Chomp. I respect Chomp. I don't know if you know, but we respect Garchomp in this house. So, if you missed the intro, we do have a dedicated lead in Terrifier Rhyperior. The rest of the order doesn't matter because it's singles. But we got the double vests because that bundle is a Menace and that Superior is a Menace. I wasn't expecting to see the Mandibuzz. So I'm kind of looking, and I think that he's either got Rocks, Garchomp, or like he's going with like a Volt Switch lead with the Rotom, maybe to like get a Wisp off. Or maybe even like a Trick a Scarf onto a Rhyperior. I've seen it happen. But let's get into these battles. Or battle, because it's one. But yeah, while we're waiting, go ahead, scroll down to the description. I have all of the coaches' links to their YouTube channels in the description. Drop subs for them and the Head Honchos who are helping coach us in our coaching of our draft team. I appreciate it. All right, here we go. Nervous. Grandmaster D.Rey. We got Sharkeisha the Garchomp. We got those Rocks Garchomp. More than likely, Rocks Garchomp. So here is actually where I do want to just Terrifier immediately. We are perfectly safe in front of this Garchomp. I believe so. I say that and I could be wrong. But this is literally just so we have a good defensive pivot into Superior. Always. If it's Terrifier, it is Terrifier Superior because it's Open Terra. This way we always have that nice grass fire resist. And that way we don't have to worry about swapping in on a Wisp on a Rotom. So we Terrifier immediately and just throw off an Ice Punch. Shouldn't be too much that Garchomp can really do. EQ will hurt. Sub could be a Menace. But let's see what D.Rey's got for us. Is it just Rocks? Looks like he is staying in. We are hitting that Terrifier early and hard. There's the Earthquake. Cool. Love to see it. We are a super tanky Rhyperior. All I really wanted to do was check mainly this thing. So Rhyperior does get its first KO on the Chomp. And that should mean no Rocks. I don't think anything else they brought got Rocks. Mandibuzz doesn't get Rocks, right? It gets Toxic. It's annoying. It can defog. Alright, so I'm pretty sure you bring out Bundle here. Duck Norse. That sounds like Bundle. So a couple options here. I can make them hit a Hydro. I can go into Scizor. It doesn't eat Hydro all that well. Do we need Rhyperior for anything else? The answer is possibly that Mandibuzz. So Chomp is down. So here's the thing. Chomp is down, which means my Enamorous is actually freed up a little bit. But I think we can always go Scizor. Because we are vested, we will eat even a Specs Hydro. Even though you may be going for like a Ice move, expecting one of my Dragon pivots. There's a Hydro. Okay, so that's probably a Sash bundle. So we're just going to assume that you're probably going to pivot here because you don't want to lose the Sash to a Bullet Punch. So we're going to go ahead and U-turn on out, keep up some momentum, see what he wants to do. Also looks to possibly be like a kind of bulky bundle. While we're waiting, might as well. Into a Scizor. Hydro does 43 to 51. That might just be a Boots bundle. Yeah, Rotom. Alright, get a very nice pivot out. So you don't ever kill Rhyperior here. So Rhyperior is kind of free to just kind of click Stone Edge. We do have the Lumberry on Roaring Moon, which is super nice. I'm fine to bring out the Rhyperior here and make it hit some moves. Because this is a pretty free Stone Edge. You can Trick. I do think as long as we have Enamorous, Mandibuzz isn't a problem. And as long as I have my priority boys with Scizor and Hitmontop, bundle shouldn't be too big of a problem. You could go out into Slowking here, because I'm assuming you're a defensive Slowking. But let's see. Let's see. I'm excited. There's the Volt Switch. Doesn't get the KO. Can we hit Stone Edges? First Stone Edge of the season. Can we land? Rhyperior. Do you got me? Here's probably Mandibuzz. That looks like a Mandibuzz. Cardi Beak. Hits the Stone Edge. Does half. Very nice. I am just going to stay in and hit this thing again. Yeah, because I don't want you getting too much value off Roost pivots because you're kind of annoying. As we miss a Stone Edge. Alright, so you can go for Foul Play, you can go for Toxic, you can do all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to stay in. Yeah, Foul Play is fine. So, the interesting thing here is we can go Bolt. But how much does that do? What is that Mon's name? Mandibuzz. Thunderbolt does about half it. They're specially defensive. But it seemed like they had quite a bit of defensive bulk on there too. Thunderbolt is 84. I don't really want to get Toxic on that thing. I could also just go... I'm fine going Enamorous here. Because I'm assuming your pivot is the Rotom. Yeah, and we just get damage. Slime Shady. Oh, they got the Slowking. To be honest, kind of forgot about that mon. Alright, so that thing's got some Sludge Bombs. It can go Fire Blast, Flamethrower, take out the Scizor. I want to keep the Scizor. I'm not really concerned about the Hitmontop, to be completely honest. That being said, it doesn't really do anything for me. But we are going to go Hitmontop because I don't want them chilly receptioning out and getting a Blizzard and a free bundle switch. Because I don't know if you saw. On this set. We got Sunny Day Hitmontop. Big Intimidate on the Slowking. Yeah, Scizor is not coming in on that. Thank you. Ooh, and the burn is just a nail in the coffin. Alright, so you could Psychic Noise this. Trying to think. Do we stay in? Because if we stay in, we don't do anything. I'm going to go Scizor. Because two things happen here. You either Chilly out or you Psychic Noise. Or random Psychic move. I don't want to go Roaring Moon because I also don't want to take an Ice Beam. And I don't want to go Roaring Moon because I don't want to be in versus a bundle Inhale. So we are going to just go ahead and pop on out of here. That guy's still good to like at least break a Sash if that is Sash bundle. Yeah, there's a Psychic Noise. Slowking. Galler. Okay, so you are slow. So this should be a pretty free U-turn out. We could just knock it. Which I don't hate. But I would like to keep my Scizor around, so we're going to U-turn. Yeah, there's the pivot. Going back into this Rotom. No. Mandibuzz. Going to keep this thing low, chip it down. I think here we can just go Raging Bolt. I don't love it, but we can do it. Let me think of how because I also like. Let's go Bolt. You don't really have a Thunderbolt switch in. You can obviously Toxic me, which would be very sad. You do have Rotom. That's your Thunderbolt switch in, and I don't really have switch ins to Rotom. I'm actually going to one Calm Mind up here. Yeah, the Slowking is going to be a little bit annoying. So we'll get a Calm Mind up on the Raging Bolt, which puts us at +1. Draco does not KO. If they Ice Beam us, though. I'm always going Hitmontop. This is just like my Scout Mon to see what they want to do. I don't really need it for anything in particular. Except just to get some chip. Yeah, there's the Ice Beam. Should have just stayed in and Thunderbolted. They would have never seen it coming. Are you just... you know what? This might be an Assault-vested Slowking. I'm going to find out. I'm not pivoting. This Hitmontop can go down. coming in on that Mandibuzz. Get that sunny day up. We're just going to close combat for Chip. Every little bit of Chip helps. So we do know they have Ice Beam. There is the Roost. They might just kind of stay in and stall out the Hitmontop, but we'll find out. That's good, Chip. Going hard, Raging Bolt. You could U-turn. You might Toxic, but I highly doubt. Get that special attack boost. There's a foul play. Just a little bit, Chip. Just a little bit. And we just throw off a big Thunderbolt. We could try to get a Calm Mind off, but I don't really want to risk like Toxic turns. And I think with the special attack boost, we don't really need it. Again, if it's Sash Bundle, it gets a little bit dicier. Yeah, there's a Toxic. Alright. Big Thunderbolt on Mandy. Alright, this thing I do kind of need healthy for the bundle. And I'm assuming if the bundle comes in now, it's sashed. You could still be Boots. There is the Slowking. I am almost 100% certain that this thing is vested. And I could be wrong. Let's see. OU, Assault Vest. Let's see if we go Max Modest. Ice Beam does about half. We are in the sun. We don't ever get the KO. Okay. We go top. It's getting dicey. It's getting dicey. Again, top is always my sack, especially with Garchomp being gone. There's the Ice Beam. Cool. So you have to be max to not die to knock off. And even then it's a roll. It's in your favor, but it's a roll. So I'm gonna get it. You could be Colbert Berry too. Ice Beam doesn't kill. It could freeze. But we're going, see now, if this is bundle, this is definitely a Sash bundle. Rotom. I don't think Rotom gets any phasing moves. Let's see. Rotom Heat. Defensive pivot, we are at +1. We don't get the KO with knockoff, so we're going to get another Dragon Dance up. And if you want to Wisp, you're going to be super sad. And this is why Roaring Moon is an Uber. There's the Wisp. They find out that, hey, we're Lumberry. Alright, we are big Roaring Moon now. Knockoff should always KO. GG's. Not GG's. I don't ever. First rule of Pokemon, never say GG's early. I meant just for that Rotom. No disrespect, Grandmaster D.Rey. And this is kind of the end game that we were hoping for, was a spot to get our Roaring Moon in and just Dragon Dance up and KO everything. Again, I'm assuming since the bundle isn't coming immediately out that you're probably boots, expecting me to bring like a Mew or something to Stealth Rocks, which would be good. It's very good. I almost did. That was actually on my first draft of the team. It was definitely a Mew Stealth Rocks team. But I wanted to play this one a little bit more aggressive. There is the bundle. Does bundle KO? I don't think bundle even KOs. Actually, if they're modest, they KO. Or there's a roll to KO with Ice Beam. 25% chance. We just click knockoff. Bundle is very defensive, but not that defensive. So glad to not see Dozo this week. Alright, there's the Slowking. Back for another one. Gonna hit that knock. We're gonna see exactly what item it was. Fast. Yep. And finally, the Terrafire Superior, which, unless you're sashed, I don't think you are ever defensive enough to live a +2 knock from a Roaring Moon. There's that Terrafire. They're going to let us see it. Very nice. Critical hit just to finish it off. Great game to Grandmaster D.Rey. Great prep. I was not expecting the Mandibuzz. I think we actually put in a ton of work. It really put my Bolt on a timer. So happy to take these first week wins. GG's to D.Rey. Guys, if you've made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe. Check out all of the coaches and the Head Honchos YouTube channels in the description below. Make sure to sub to them as well, because what the SPL is doing with this development league, it's so good for newer creators and newer people to Wi-Fi draft battles to get them up kind of like to the level that they need to be at to be able to compete and, you know, perform at the highest level of content creation for Pokemon, because it's what you guys want to see, is what we actually personally enjoy watching as well. I watch a ton of draft. But GG's to Grandmaster D.Rey. Super well fought battle. So glad Roaring Moon was able to put in so much work week 1. Guys, as always, take it easy. Peace.